Hello and welcome to another installment of Thunder and Lightning, interviewing cool people who we think our channel would be interested in.
Yeah.
Today we're interviewing voice actor, director,
Writer.
animator, writer, author,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Ben Wickey. The list goes on. I've been a friend of Ben's for many years now. We know each other through a mutual friend, John Plunkett, of various projects that I'm in. Ben Wickey, personally for us, he's recorded the one and only music video for the project Set the Nation that I was in back in the day. But today we're focusing on his film House of the Seven Gables.
Yes. Based off of the book by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and of course based off the real world house, real world events. It's a kind of a house that has a history of having paranormal happenings surrounding it, and that's what this short film is about.
With that, please help us introduce the one and only Mr. Ben Wickey. Welcome, Mr. Ben Wickey. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much both for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
We're very excited to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure. No, this is great. Fantastic.
Very simple question with a probably way more complicated answer. Why House of the Seven Gables?
I grew up around the house. I knew someone, very dear friend of mine. She used to work there. So the first time I was ever there, I was around 4. I remember distinctly because it was at night. So the house was lit very atmospherically, with fake candles, but still it had that orange glow,
Yeah.
perfect for, old creaking New England houses by the water. And just this atmosphere took over me. It's never left me. And I remember someone, could have been my friend who worked there, but someone was saying, oh yeah, and in the book, the house is described as having a heart within its walls. And that freaked me out.
Oh, that explains the quote at the beginning of the movie. I was really curious about that.
Yeah, that explains the quote. It explains the dream sequence that has a beating heart between.
Right. Yes,
Right.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my sort of trying to get to the heart of that initial thing that completely made me fall in love with that place. And I fell in love with it since. Every time I would revisit it, I would just get this inspirational charge, you know what I mean? I think I was walking with my mom, actually. We visited the house, and she said, it is funny that Tim Burton never did a version of The House of Seven Gables. And I was explaining how, Tim Burton is more California goth type, with hints of German expressionism, and how that wouldn't really work for New England because XYZ. And then I was like, well, geez, I'm making a big enough point. I should do it. My mom actually suggested it. She was like, you could just do an animated version.
Yeah.
It's not in the public domain. It's in the public domain because it was written in 1850.
Right. That's long
or
enough.
1851. Came out after the Scarlet Letter.
Right.
Hawthorne wrote it only a few miles away. He wrote it in Lenox, a few miles away from where Melville was writing Moby Dick.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
And they had a very interesting relationship with each other where, they'd be writing each other back and forth. And Hawthorne had a very prolific time writing that book. Yeah, so then in 2013, I tried to make Gables as a film. I just had this little camcorder, and I would have to press a frame at a time, really quickly to animate it. And I couldn't finish it, but I had enough footage to send, when I was trying to get into art colleges for animation, because I had enough to make a trailer to say yeah, the actual film exists. It didn't exist. This was all I had, So when it came time to choosing my thesis film, I thought, I'm going to do Gables. I'd already done the Ray Bradbury short film and a film before that where I learned enough about animation. I'm still learning, but by that time I was like, I've learned enough. I can build sets. I know how to. I've got this great equipment at my disposal. Yeah. So it sort of, everything sort of fell together, especially with Jonathan David Dixon's music.
Oh yeah,
And
music was fantastic.
Yeah, and David Franken as the narrator and his support of the film. Oh my God! I mean, I could not. The film would not be as good without those two people.
How did you meet David Franken, and how did he come to be a part of this cast?
David Franken. Oh my God! If you just look at David Franken's IMDb,
Yeah.
In everything, the original Star Trek, he was in 101 Dalmatians, Beverly Hillbillies. I mean, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 3 Vincent Price movies, especially Tales of Terror, the one that really got me into that kind of, those very psychedelic, colorful Roger Corman Poe adaptations from the early 60s that really fueled me to make Gables, because I thought, like, all right, it's going to be like a cross between Rankin Bass's Mad Monster Party, where you've got, this Boris Karloff character that looks like Boris Karloff and is played by Boris Karloff, mixed with these great, colorful Poe adaptations that Roger Corman did. And my favorite has always been Tales of Terror. And David, has a really great role in that film alongside Basil Rathbone and Vincent. When David turned 90, this was several years ago. He's 95.
Yeah.
We actually just found that out today. Yeah.
Still going strong. He's doing conventions and all sorts of things.
Amazing.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That was part of this question. I said to Anthony, I was like, how did Ben get a hold of him also? How did he get him to do this? 95, you think you'd want to stop, you'd want to slow down a little bit.
He was retired.
Yeah,
he was
right.
Comfortably in retirement in Santa Fe. And I approached him. Well, what happened was he turned 90 and I did a sort of video tribute with all sorts of clips that I could find I just went down the list of IMDb, found everything I could find on the internet with him in it, and added music, and I made this sort of tribute, like this 90th birthday tribute. And that was my first impression. That was me introducing myself.
Wow. And he saw it.
He loved it.
Wow.
He loved it. He was very moved. And so I said, by the way, I'm doing this animated film. It's sort of a love letter to the films that you do with Vincent. And, I wondered if you could be the narrator. And, there'd be a puppet version of you. And he jumped on it. He just jumped at the chance. So, And he is such a pro. He had memorized everything. And we left about 45 minutes before we were set to record. I'd booked this recording studio at the school, and we went off and got, brunch before we were even set to record. He did a few takes, and that was it. It was perfect.
Being fans of your work and stuff, I know that there's usually a Ben Wickey cameo. Usually you do a voice in one of the films, and I love it. I love trying to figure it out. When it started and the narration started, I was like, I think this is Ben.
I had to cut. It's the thing with student films, when you have a deadline, I had to cut my own character out of the film.
Oh,
no. Okay.
Oh, that answers one of our questions.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Uncle Venner, this old character that visits Hepzibah, and I was gonna have him look like John Carradine.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
And I was going to have this old voice like this down here, and
I'd be visiting basically. The scene exists in storyboards and in audio.
Okay.
One day when it's on a sort of DVD or something, that'll probably be a special feature.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have to kill your darlings at some point. The bit where Clifford's father dies, and you hear the that's me.
Oh.
Okay. We watched this film as part of a collection of films as part of the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival. But while we were doing research, we did notice that this film has been in countless film festivals, and it's won some awards, but we couldn't quite track down exactly which awards it won. So we were wondering if you could enlighten us.
It won an award. The first award it won was the Hollywood Reporter. They have like the tabloid Witch Awards. The H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival, it won best
adaptation.
Yeah.
So in the mail, I got this amazing Cthulhu statue as the trophy.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool.
It was really cool. I think the most coveted award that it won was the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Award, which is sort of like the Oscar for horror.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
And it won best short film.
Wow.
And it's the character actor Rondo Hatton from classic horror films. I'm not really an awards guy, but when that arrived in the mail, I thought, okay.
Oh, how could you not? Yeah.
I feel something about this because, it's a great award ceremony where it's just voted by people. You know what I mean? It's not
right.
It's not a committee. It's not anything like that. It's just people like, I like that film. I'm going to vote for it.
Yeah.
I think that's how it should work.
Oh yeah. Just how long did it take to make this film?
About 9 months. The end of my junior year, I directed David. David's voice was the first thing that I did for the film. And then over the summer, I built the miniature of the house itself. I built that in Massachusetts. And then I just hit the ground run. And all through that summer that would have been 2017. Yeah.
Okay.
I just recorded voices of people who I know who were actors, and my grandmother Phyllis. Yeah, and I think when she was a little girl, I think they did a school play of The House of Seven Gables, and she wanted to play Hepzibah. She didn't get to. I think she told me that story, so I was like, "No, you get to play Hepzibah."
Oh, that's cool.
And she's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh no, she was great.
Fantastic.
She's not an actress. I mean, she's not. I mean, for my film, she is, but
right.
I thought she was one of the better. I thought she did an incredible job.
She's magnificent. Yeah. Joe Stiliano, who's a great Shakespearean actor. He'd worked with us before on several projects. He was the Jaffrey Pynchon character.
He did
people that
phenomenal.
I worked in plays. Yeah. So a really great cast. Yeah, just a good group of people. So that when I flew back to Cal Arts, I had all the audio, and I just hit the ground running, building sets and building puppets. And I actually worked at the same time filming as Jonathan with the music. I would do what's called an animatic, where you've got the storyboards linked up with the finished cut audio, because you always cut the audio before doing the animation, at least voices and stuff like that, just to get the timing right. So I had these animatics made, and I would make those and send them off to Jonathan, and while he would be creating the score for that film that would be tailor-made to what would be in the final edit, I would be animating that scene.
Wow.
Oh.
So it was kind of cool that we'd be working together in that way, and he would do different things, and I would say like, "Oh, this is great. You'll add this little bit because I'm going to add this." So we really worked. We didn't have any disagreements. We were basically in sync with our gut feelings of what the tone and what the film needed. You know what I mean? It was perfect collaboration.
We couldn't help but notice the Cal Arts part during the credits, and we were wondering if this film was intended for a project for school, or if it was just so happened that you used the
Cal
resources
Arts.
at Cal Arts to film it.
It was my thesis film.
It was.
So this is what you graduated with?
This is what I graduated with. Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
so I would have to just like a workshop thing where I would come in with like finished scenes or shots or something and show like my classmates like, this is what I've been doing. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it had almost like a pre-audience too, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
And I finished it the day I graduated.
Oh wow.
I had enough for like a nice showing at the end in order to graduate, because it's a 30-minute film. There's enough of it to pass, even without certain bells and whistles that I wanted to add. So I graduated, and then I hadn't had any sleep, so I barely remember. I barely remember walking on the stage and getting my diploma. I've seen footage of it, oh, that's me, but I barely remember. and I had lots of like credits to fulfill and for like critical studies and all that sort of thing too. It's just
Right.
like,
Yeah, I assume you were making this film while also doing like homework for other classes as well.
yeah, in order to graduate.
Right,
Yeah. All this other stuff.
We know about our Marcel the Shell with Shoes, which is
Yes.
an upcoming project that you were assistant animator / animator.
Well, what happened was I flew out there last year in February. Kirsten Laporte, who was the animation director of that film, she's brilliant, and she was one of my teachers at Cal Arts. So she recruited me as an animation assistant initially for this film, Marcel the Shell, which just had its premiere in Colorado.
Nice.
There's no trailer out yet, or it's not out yet.
Right.
But it's been getting great reviews.
That's
It's,
awesome.
Excellent. I can't wait to watch it.
I can't wait to finally see it.
Yeah.
So I started out as an animation assistant, and then COVID hit,
Right.
and we took like a 5-month, hiatus. We came back in, with masks and lots of, great safety restrictions, and thankfully we didn't like lose anybody on the project to COVID. But when you get laid off for a time, some people can't come back because they're on other projects now.
Yeah.
So I was able to actually animate a lot of shots for the film.
That's awesome.
Which I was really happy with, because usually, you're an animation assistant and you sort of work your way, doing some little animated bits to be in the industry. That's how it works,
Right.
Whether you've directed your own films or not, in the industry, there's kind of still like a little progression that you've got to go. So I was able to animate quite a bit for that film.
What's next for Ben Wickey?
Yeah.
Well, I just finished working on a cookbook. It's a Vincent Price cookbook
Oh.
called Supper with the Stars.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's got 50 caricatures that I've done, for it. I've done the cover too. I recently just found out that I'm actually allowed to talk about this other project because I can now say I haven't made this public at all, so it's making it public here.
Exciting.
Actually.
That's awesome.
That
Thank you for the privilege.
Sure. That I am a contributing artist for Alan Moore's Moon and Serpent Bumper Book of Magic.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's exciting.
This long-awaited grimoire of magical thinking, and it's a very funny, very enlightening book on 21st century magic as Alan Moore sees it. Me and some artists that I absolutely worship. I am just so blown away and humbled and honored to be working on it. It's super, super, super cool. Yeah, there's that. There's a film that I'm working on with my dad that we're going to be doing a Kickstarter for soon. It's going to be puppets.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Very
It's
cool.
going to be like a kind of a Nordic adventure film.
Yes.
We're hoping to also have David Franken for that film as well. So
Awesome.
it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, so I got some stuff going on.
Yeah. I'd say
Updated.
you keep busy.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow
Yes.
Ben or see any of his projects, I'm going to put all the links to everything
links.
in the description. You can buy the movie collection that we bought. Anything that Ben has ever touched, I'm sure there'll be a link to it in the description.
Also, October
Yes.
29th.
20.
October 28th.
Yeah.
October 28th. Salem Cinema, I believe that's the theater, right? Salem Cinema will be doing a viewing and a Q&A, I believe, afterwards.
Yes.
Of House of Seven Gables. So if you are anywhere in the area of Salem, Mass. In October, which I know a lot of people will
Yeah.
be sure to get your tickets. Just thank you for everything. Thank you for being here, and you've
Yeah.
been a great interviewee.
No, it's great. You've given me a platform to, sell my wares.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
And that is always welcome. And this is a great setup. I'd love to do this again with you guys.
We
This
would
is
love to.
fantastic.
Oh,
Are you
sure,
kidding?
yeah.
With all the projects you have coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you have a free second, we'd love to get you back on.
Oh, you guys are the best.
All right, so that'll do it for us. We did have one more question. What was your favorite project to work on, and why was it our Star Wars abridged video? Thank you for listening and watching. And if you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe.
Our channel is daily uploads from podcasts to video essays, let's plays to skits.
Be sure to find us on Twitch and Patreon.
Our theme song is Sunny Day by Froggy and the Friendship, and our Let's Play intro is Sunny Bit by the same band.
Link to all these in the description below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.